Hello everyone, LucaYasha, and welcome to our next top 5 video. Now this was supposed to be out last week, but due to work constraints, and I've said on Twitter on a previous video, it was out of my control. I couldn't get it done in time, there was no space to fill in to do these actual recordings, so I'm sorry about that. But let's actually talk about this top 5 today, which is going to be the top 5 Dark-type Pokemon. Now Dark-type was introduced in Generation 2 to counteract the sort of OP nature of the Psychic types in Generation 1. And of course, by that I mean Alakazam, that thing was a monster. But they are pretty cool Dark types. They're sort of like the thugs of Pokemon. They often have the coolest designs in my opinion. It's one of my favourite types, probably at number 5 in top 10. That video will be coming around after all this is done. But the thing about Dark types which you have to remember is that they're mainly used for offensive purposes. Now there are some Pokemon which go around that, like Mandibuzz and Dumbreon. Pretty sure you know who I'm talking about. But they're mostly used for their offensive abilities. Most of the times they are physical attackers. I mean originally, well, Dark type was special, but then they changed it to physical because of moves like, say, Knock Off, Foul Play. So they're mainly used for physical attackers, but there are a few special attackers out there, and like I said, there are a few bulky Dark types. So I said, it's just a cool type, and I figured that, yeah, it's pretty cool, I'll make it one of my top 5s, why not? Pretty cool type, and of course, Gen 6, they gave Fairy types, which just bombed on Dark types really hard. So anyway, without further ado, let's move on into my top 5 favourite Dark-type Pokemon. Oh, also, stick to the end of the video, guys, because there's a little update for you. Number 5. At number 5 this week, we have Zoroark. Now, as I've said before, I didn't get to play Gen 5 when it came out, and Zoroark was actually introduced to me from the movie. Yeah, that was a pretty long time apart. But like I said, the thing about Zoroark that really stands out to me is its uniqueness. And in Pokemon, I love that. I love people who can be unique with Pokemon, running different sets, having unique moves on them, things that you don't usually see. That's one of my favourite things about Pokemon, which is probably why Ubers and OU isn't one of my favourite tiers, just because you see the same stuff over and over again. But the thing about Zoroark is just how unique it is. The fact that it's got a unique ability, Illusion, which essentially makes it look like a different Pokemon on your team. As well as that, it also has a unique move, Night Daze, which unfortunately I can't show you here because it doesn't run on this Zoroark, because this is a more practical one. But the thing about Zoroark that does sell me is the design. It's just such a cool looking mon. Like I said, Dark types oftentimes have the best designs, and the fact it's like tail hair, and the shiny, if the shiny was like Zorua with blue and black, it'd probably be at number 2 at most, because it's such a cool design. And as you saw on the close-up of the face, it's got like little jester makeup, like little bits on the lips and around the eyes, sort of like a clown. And the idea of that is to tie in the fact it's the illusion of the trickster fox. Sometimes GameFreak just really puts their game up, and this is one of those cool-ass Pokemon. But actually, let's talk about competitive Zoroark. Zoroark can be used as a physical or special attacker, but more times you see the special attacker because you can get the nasty plot set up. And because obviously of illusion, people will think, oh, you sent an illusion against my ghost type, I have to get out of here, I'm not going to be able to hit this thing. So essentially, Zoroark is that one that can throw off the person's game, but oftentimes when you see a Zoroark on the team of the opposing player, you know that the Pokemon they send in might be a Zoroark. But like I said, just the fact of how unique it is, probably one of my favourite Gen 5 Pokemon that how would you phrase that, Luke? God, that came out in Generation 5. Oh my goodness gracious me. So as I said, the design, pretty cool, the shiny, pretty awesome as well. As well as that, like I said, very high attack. Poopy defenses, unfortunately, but you can't have everything in some Pokemon. And that's why he's at number 5. If he was a bit more rounded in defenses and had a blue shiny as opposed to the purple one, the purple one's fine. But like I said, if it did have access to, say, what's that move called? The Dark type move. I can't remember. I'll probably put it in the video, but thing like I said, Zoroark, great speed, great special attacker, great physical attacker as well. He's at number 5 this week. Number 5, Zoroark. Number 4. At number 4 this week, we have Absoul. Now, as I said, I'm a Gen 3er, and Gen 3 is my favourite gen of all time. Of course, with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, it's pretty cool, and I just love pretty much all the Pokemon from Generation 3. A few exceptions here and there, but most of the time I love them. And Absoul was just one of the coolest looking mons that came from that game. For one, it's got a scythe head and a scythe tail, and scythes are just cool. If you've ever seen Soul Eater, or, well actually no, not that anime's a bit rude, but essentially just one of the coolest looking mons that came out of there. And once again, it's similar to Zoroark in the fact that it's really pretty much nothing but bulk, about power. Pretty much that's all he's about. And I pretty much got an update then on my computer for some reason. Sorry about that little blip. But anyway, Absoul even. Absoul's Mega was also introduced in Generation 6, and look at that. He's supposed to be the disaster Pokemon, and he becomes like a disaster angel. Because like they gave wings to him, and that's pretty cool. The Scythe got a bit more accentrified, and he's just nothing but pure power. That's all he is. And he gained access to Magic Bounce, making him pretty utility-wise as well. If someone wants to set stuff off on you, then you can just Magic Bounce them right back. Granted, this does make it predictable, but still fun to use. That's the best way to describe Absol, fun. And before people say things like, oh, well, before it got the Mega, it wasn't that good. And I can sort of agree with you. His attack wasn't that good, and his defenses were pretty much naught. But that still didn't change the fact that when I first played my Ruby, I just got an Absol and I kept it because it was just so cool looking. And I said, it was a dark type, and it was a type they didn't really get to see much of in Generation 3. Because let's see, the other ones you get were Sableye and Mightyena. The Mightyena is pretty cool as well, but the fact this thing's white and blue also sold me on it. Pretty cool mon again, and like I said, it's pretty mixed as well actually, if I was going to speak English. It's a pretty mixed attacker, having great attack, great special attack, but most times you do see the physical attacker variant just because it's more commonly used. So at number 4 this week, we have Absoul. Number 3. At number 3 this week, we have Tyranitar. Now, if we're going to talk about powerful dark types, we of course have to mention one of the pseudo-dark types, Tyranitar. And Tyranitar is just a monster of Pokemon. It's incredible. Great attack, pretty decent defenses as well, actually. It's more used to a physical variant, which is a bit weird considering the fact that during Generation 2, Dark was special. But still, this thing came out of it, and I could just say that's pretty awesome. So I said, Tyranitar is just nothing but power. And you can run bulky sets. I mean, one of my other sets that I run is Impish Natured, so essentially up defense and then let the Sand Stream boost his special defense thanks to his rock typing. And so as well as that, it got a Mega. And granted, Mega T-Tar is not one of my favourite Megas in terms of design. I think they went a little overboard with it. I mean, like I said, that's pretty cool, but the spiky bits on its arms, they just sort of stand out too much to me. And so that's just my opinion. I'm not saying he's a bad Mega, of course. He's an insanely powerful Mega. Probably one of the best ones out there, just for its pure power-wise. As well as that, it gets access to Dragon Dance, one of my favourite moves in the game, period. Dragon Dance, just such a cool move. I love it, I love it, I love it. As well as that, look at the chest light up as well. It's so cool. So Tyranitar is just one of those other cool Pokemon that came out in Generation 2, which unfortunately, Generation 2 didn't get to play one either, and I got mine in Fire Red, Leaf Green. Because you saw your rival have one in that game, and you thought, oh, how do me get me one of those Tyranitars? That's such a cool mon. And granted, like I said, it's a pseudo as well, so you know this thing's powerful. And expect this thing to be on the rock type list as well. I was going to say spoilers, but he's just a pretty damn cool rock type as well. And back then, I guess we didn't really have any dinosaur-looking Pokemon, so this thing stood out. So as well as that, just sort of nostalgia factor for me. I mean, you could say that you could just love him for power. I love him for power and nostalgia, just because he's such a cool mon to use. And like I said, fun. I use him in Sandstorm teams all the time, just because I like to get my Pokemon that boost. And like I said, the bulk in the sand is amazing. As well as access to Dragon Dance, this thing just hurts. Pure power. So at number 3 this week, we have Tyranitar. Number 2. Taking second place this week, we have Honchkrow. Now, in Generation 4, there was quite a few things I liked about it, but the thing I liked most about it was the fact that it gave so many forgotten Pokemon evolutions. I wouldn't say Murkrow was too forgotten at the time, but obviously giving it this evolution just made it stand out far, far more. And Honchkrow, once again, one of the best designed dark types in the game, in my opinion. And granted, I don't really like flying types too much, just because there's not really a unique flying type, but this one stands out to me as one of the coolest flying types out there. I can't remember the exact thing in Pokedex, but I'm pretty sure that it's called the Big Boss Pokemon, and you can see it in that design. It's got like a little bouquet tail, and the hat as well, and the poofy chest. Pretty cool, awesome Pokemon, and crows are another one of my cool animals out there, like symbolize death and all like plagues and stuff. They're pretty cool Pokemon. And like I said, it's just a really, I didn't say this, but about dark types, they are really offensive. And this thing can be run as a physical or a mix, because it gets access to Moxie as an ability, and it can get Nasty Plot. So you can easily run either two. I prefer to run the physical variant because that Moxie boost can just allow him to sweep and set up. Just pretty cool. And as well as that, sub is just pretty nice on both of them, because you sub, then you can get Roost, followed up with either a Nasty Plot, or you can just go out offensive on it. So I said, a pretty offensive beast of a Pokemon. And Honchkrow, like I said, when I played through my Pearl version the first time, and I found out this thing was, I was trying to complete the Dex at that point, because that was when I said, oh, I've done everything I can, let's try and complete the Dex, how do I get me a Honchkrow? A Murkrow and a Duststone, eh? And I just fell in love with it ever since. Such a cool design, and the cry as well. I absolutely love the cry of Honchkrow, probably one of my favourite cries in the game, second to Aggron maybe. As I said, pretty beastly mon, and a pretty cool designed one at that as well. So taking second place this week, we have Honchkrow. Number 1. And claiming number 1 this week, we have Weavile. Now, I'm just going to be honest about this. Ice is one of my favourite types, and this is just pure biased, but Ice type, Dark type, you obviously know this thing was going to be on the list. As well as that, Weavile's in the same case of Honchkrow, the fact they gave this Pokemon an evolution from Sneasel in Generation 4 games. And, oh my god, I absolutely love Weavile. Once again, nothing but an offensive mon, but just the coolest, no pun intended there, coolest dark types out there. Its design is slick, its attack and speed are monstrous, in fact it's probably one of the fastest Pokemon in the game. If it got a Mega Evolution, just imagine how fast it could be. So as I said, just because this is biased on me, just because Ice type is my favourite type in the game, just the fact of that, and it's also its offensive presence is amazing. I wish I could use it a bit more in tier battles, because this thing is only in OU. I can't remember if it got moved or not, but I know I can't use it in UU or any other tier below, and I think even Sneasel's quite high up in the tiers, just because of its speed and amazing attack as well. So still, well, it's not bulky in any sense. It's got quad weakness to fighting, so a Mach Punch can just destroy a Weavile, which is pretty ironic because it's one of the fastest things that gets popped by a priority move, or hell, any priority move except for Sucker Punch, maybe. So give it a Focus Sash or give it Life Orb for damage, just pretty beastly. Like I said, the design is what sold me on Weavile, and its typing. I just love Ice type so much, and this thing is just sleek and fast, and oh my god, even at one point Weavile was going to be my mascot at one point. But that unfortunately obviously got given to Bennett. I wouldn't say unfortunately, that's the wrong word to say, but it was given to Bennett just because I preferred Bennett over Weavile. And before people say things like, oh, well, Weavile's a better Pokemon, yeah, I'm not admitting that Weavile isn't a better Pokemon than Bennett, but just the fact I prefer Bennett. So anyway, Weavile, pretty damn cool, monster in battle, great design, I can't accentuate that enough, just perfect. Everything about Weavile is perfect. The only thing that's bad about Weavile is it's shiny, but there'll be a list for those top 10 worst shinies, and guess who's going to be number 1? So, at number 1 also this week for my top 5 dark types, we have Weavile. And that is it, guys, my top 5 favourite dark type Pokemon. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button. And if your favourite dark type wasn't on this list, write down in the comments your top 5 Pokemon. But as I said in the beginning of the video, there is a minor update for you guys with relation to Wi-Fi battles. If you want a chance to Wi-Fi battle me and be starring in an episode of Pokemon Wi-Fi battles, all you have to do is follow me on Twitter and message me on Twitter that you would like to battle. Now when you do this, you do have to give me your friend code, as well as your in-game name and any links to a YouTube channel, a Twitter, or some form of social media you wish me to link you to. So like I said, you have to do those things. You have to be following me on Twitter, because even though you could organise on YouTube, YouTube's a bit of a cluttered system. Twitter's, I would say, is a bit better when it comes to that fact. So just hit me up on Twitter at LucaYasha, and we can arrange times, see when we can do the Wi-Fi battle. And remember, Wi-Fi battles only come out on a Saturday, but if I manage to get a few more recorded, then there may be one on Wednesday as well as Saturday. So that's just a minor update for you guys, remember. And also, do post which tier you want to battle in, but I am going to say no Ubers. Ubers are not going to be played for Wi-Fi battles. I hate that tier. And I guess I can tolerate OU, but mainly aim for UU, RU, and NU, my 3 favourite tiers. So anyway, now I've got that out of the way with, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you all so much for watching. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Follow me on Twitter for latest news updates for the channel. I've been LucaYasha. I will see you all in the next vid. Goodbye.